Welcome back. Welcome back to Two Cousins, One Couch, where we invite you to pull up, sit down, and be family. My name is Gozá. I am one half of the cousins duo. I'm also the oldest grandchild and granddaughter, niece, big sister, cousin, and auntie. And I moved through this world highly protected and connected. I'm also the Black Love Permissionist. I'm an intrapersonal and interpersonal relationship advocate, a certified feminine empowerment and life coach. I'm a trauma educator, group facilitator. I would like to say cultural conversationalist, multidimensional creatress, spiritual witness. And if you ask me, an all around dope ass individual. I'd like to bring up my cousin Tina Mo for show to the stage, or in this instance, to the couch. Have a seat next to me, cousin, and tell us about yourself.
Well, I am Tina Mo for show. I'm also known as the eldest grandchild, the oldest sibling, the oldest everything on my
Ooh,
side of the family.
period. She older than me.
I know, right? But I'm also a content creator. I am the owner and operator of the Tina Mofa Show YouTube page. I am a content creator, and um,
Mhm.
I am also the host, co-hosting of the intentionally random broadcast, Tea Time with Tina Mo. And there are so many other branches of the intentionally random broadcast brand. And so you'll see me in so many different spaces as it pertains to content creation. I also am an inspector by trade. Um, and along with that, I do several other different things, but I move through this space as a lover of God, uh, Bible toting, scripture quoting individual who is um, can be considered at times deeply religious, but at the same time deeply relational.
Let's go.
Um, with that being the case, I am who I am, and that's all I want to be. Nothing more, nothing less.
I love that. Are you complete, cuz?
I am complete.
All right, all right. Well, if y'all been following our show for the last three episodes, you should know Tina and I, we do come from a jaw jacking ass family. So that means when we get together, we finna be jacking the jaws. We have a lot of opinions about a lot of things. We sometimes will think of things very differently. And that's one of my favorite things about our conversations. I find them very intriguing. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to open up and let y'all kind of, peek through the window and listen to what our conversations be like. So, we have a plan, but I'm just letting y'all know. Sometimes the squirrel will take over our brain and we might end up somewhere else, but we always gonna get where we going. And that's just the way it is. So, if you are here, we got Kool-Aid in the fridge, for some of y'all like Sunny D, we got that. We got some apple juice, we got water, and we got some snacks in there. So grab your snacks, pull up, get on the couch with us if you can fit. We got some, pallets and stuff on the floor, but make yourself at home. All honorary cousins are welcome in this space. So this is our fourth episode. One, two, three, four. And today we're going to talk about the trauma of love. So, and the way this one came up it was interesting. I think we were discussing a scripture, and then before I know it, we started writing out what today's plan was going to be. So I want to first just start us out because for whatever reason, I don't exactly know what we were talking about, but this scripture came to mind. So I'm going to read the scripture, and then we just going to go from there. So for some reason, I was quoting what 1 John 4:18 says about there being no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. And one thing that I remember saying to Tina was, the fear is going to be there, right? Until the love drives it out, meaning we shouldn't be all bent out of shape every time we feel some fear, right? We have a direction that we can go in. And then before I knew it, me and Tina was talking about that thing for about 3 to 4 hours. I think we stayed up until probably 3:30 in the morning. I think you hung up just to go to prayer. Am I right?
That is correct.
We talked it up to prayer.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta pray. Wait, yeah, I'm just, oh, yeah, and so yeah, that was definitely one of those things that, because of the depth of what we were discussing as it pertains to the trauma of love, a lot of times people do not understand or even consider the fact that love causes trauma sometimes, especially when it comes to um, the things that you learn about love, the losses that you take, the sacrifices that you make. Um, and the thing about love is, love says that the sacrifice is worth it. Love says that I'm willing to put my life on the line to be as close to you as I can. I'm willing to lay down my own agenda, my own safety to get as close to you as possible. And and that can garner a lot of fear. That creates a space that causes you to um consider the thing that you love so much one day has to leave. And instead of saying, I don't want to be connected to the thing that is leaving me, you instead um, buckle up, buttercup, and decide to go along for the ride as long as possible.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Well, before we get deep into the conversation, because you see Tina already trying to take that deep dive, we're going to have a moment. First, I want to acknowledge everyone in the chat. I actually can see all the chats. So, hey. And I see, I see a lot being said here. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Oh, I see Anthony's Too Real listening in the background, preparing for bed. Thank you so much. Full support. Someone asked how we're doing. So let's get into it. Let's go into the gratitude and the church announcements. Tina, if
Yeah,
you can tell us what you are grateful for on this beautiful Sunday night.
I am grateful for. Mm. I am grateful for the ability to pursue peace
Mm.
at all costs. If that means I have to rest when I want to keep going. If that means I have to get to myself when I want to be around people. If that means um, I just take a moment to consider someone else when I feel like I should be in the spotlight. It
Mm.
is wrapped in my mind and in my heart to pursue peace. It has taken me a long time to get to this place, but I'm here and I'm open to it. Just being in that space to continue to pursue peace at all costs.
I love that. Well, I don't know if mine is going to be quite as eloquent, but what I would say is two things popped in my mind when I thought about what am I grateful for. One, family. because my whole attitude about family is completely different. What it was in 2021 and what it is now in 2026, it's almost like I'm two different people. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm also grateful for choice. I am so grateful that I can choose.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
definitely get that.
right, just knowing that you have a choice. There are times in life where I wasn't even aware that I had choices. I just thought life was
Mm.
mapped out and I was just along for the ride.
Hmm.
Oh, family is important. Oh, namaste, namaste. Um, okay, so let's get to the church announcements. And when we say church announcements, and y'all are welcome in the chat to share your announcements too, that's just our way of seeing like how are you showing up today? What space are you in? What mood are you bringing? What are you thinking about? How you feeling? Right. So if you want to share that in the chat, please do. We absolutely care. And Tina, I'm gonna hear from you first.
As far as church announcements are concerned, because I've had such a laid back day and I have not been involved with much outside of maybe and being involved in some YouTube content with just Danielle. Just Danielle. Well, Danielle. Well, those who know who just Danielle 365. We were doing Millennial Jeopardy earlier, and that was actually the highlight of my day. Is going in there and put the beat down on the people.
Oh,
And so, yeah,
Molly walked through.
yes, yes, most certainly. One day they'll get it together and put all their chat GBT and put together their Googling and their uh, Google Chrome or whatever it is that they have and get it together so they can, you know,
One day
hopefully one day,
with the right prayers.
well, I reckon, I
It's
don't
gonna
know if
take
they
something.
praying. I don't
And
know
that
if they
might be the
praying,
problem.
but it might be, it might not, sometimes, and so whenever they decide to get themselves together,
You said you
maybe,
ain't quite figured out what it is, but whatever it is, it ain't
right,
them windy.
right, and so whenever they get it together, then they'll be able
It's
to,
rough.
pull one out one of these days.
Ooh,
But being that I'm
child.
the reigning champion and I have kept my belt for the past 2 or 3 weeks, I think I'm doing pretty good. Hmm.
Man, you know what? I'm so glad I'm not outside of this family because we so competitive. We so
Yes,
ridiculous. And we
yes,
gonna talk so much trash. Oh
yes,
my goodness. She said, please don't pump her up too much. I'm not even pumping her up. I just ain't no better. That's the thing. Like
yes,
I can't
indeed.
help her. If y'all were here last week, I mean, I'm like, hey, we cocky. I don't know what to do about it. At least Tina be trying to work on hers. I be trying to turn mine up a notch.
Oh, yes, I'm trying to turn down. And then you got the whole turn down for what?
I'm like, I'll take the parts you getting rid of. Just send them on over here. I'll find something to do with it. Whew.
Crystal
Um,
says she's grateful for having a little more patience.
ooh, just a little more. I know
Just a
that's
little
right.
more. Yes, indeed.
Just a little more. Man, I feel that. My church announcements are bittersweet because yesterday was the anniversary of the birthday of my late grandmother, Gozá Brewster. So I was named after her. And she would have been 92. So I've been thinking about her quite a bit. And she's often on my mind. Um, in some ways, I'm like her. And then I was, really, family has just been so heavy on my heart for a while now. And not just, Tina always brings this up, not just our physical family, although that's a very important part of my life and purpose, but also our chosen family. So I lost a dear, dear friend of mine this week. He was unalived in a car accident on January 8th. And this is one of my closest, most loyal, genuine male friends. And, you know, I'm just going to speak for myself. I have learned as I've gotten older that a lot of men don't value friendship with women, genuine
Mhm,
friendship. I'm not talking about, they want to holler at you, and if they can't, then, you get discarded or you find out. You think y'all are friends, and then they can put you in the friend. They think you put them in the friend zone, so now they act in a weird kind of way. But like a genuine man who is not just your friend, but his
mhm,
character shines in such a way where everybody has a special relationship with him.
mhm,
Uh, Chicago lost a real one. Kimon um, passed, and it's been challenging this week. And so, and I think it's important for me to name these losses and just the legacy of these people who have impacted me, because that's part of how I'm arriving to this conversation. So my church announcements uh, are inclusive of grief, which to me is really the price you pay to love. And I
mhm.
think that takes us into the conversation tonight, the trauma of love.
Whew.
All right, let's just take a breath.
I know, right? You just dropped a heavy one because it is so much of a reminder of where we're headed with this conversation. And just in the whole idea of I gave it, I gave all I had while I had it to give.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Whew, while I had it to give.
while I had it to
Woo.
give. Hmm.
And that means so much, right? On so many different levels.
Hmm.
Right. Because one thing I remember, I took a class, I think my freshman year in college, about something about family, human development, something. This was before I had chosen my major. I was just taking classes for the sheer enjoyment of learning.
Hmm.
And whatever the class was, it had something to do with family. And I remember one of the things we're reading about in the book was how every relationship will come to an end. Right?
Hmm.
Every human relationship you have will come to an end in some shape, form, or fashion, right? Whether
Yes.
it's you outgrow each other, or you get into a big fight, or something happens where one person just doesn't want to be, connected to the other person,
Hmm.
or death, right?
Hmm.
At some point, you're going to experience the feeling of loss. I moved around a lot as a child because I had
Hmm.
military parents. So every time I got a close friend, we had to go on to the next city. So I have experienced so much loss in my life. And so I'm thinking about what you're talking about, Tina, right? Whew.
Hmm.
Again, I believe that grief is the real price you pay for loving.
Yes. Yes. Which is one of the reasons why I have had
Namaste, namaste.
um I have had the um I've had to come to a place where I was willing to um confront the elephant of the room in the room, which for me was I don't like to be open to people. And
Mm,
I don't like to be open to new connections or connections, period, because I don't want to lose the love that I've gained.
mm,
And because I don't want to lose the love that I've gained, I have a tendency to be very standoffish the closer I feel to a person.
mm.
And so it's one of those things that I always take into consideration that sometimes if I come to a place where I all of a sudden just become distant, it's probably because I'm so deeply emotionally involved. The closer I
Yeah.
feel, the more I want to run. The closer I get, the more dangerous it becomes, the more vulnerable I become to loving and the thought of loss.
Mm. You know what you were making me think of? I thought you were getting ready to go into that Roberta Fleck, Donny Hathaway. The closer I get to you, um,
No.
uh, the lyrics started coming to me. I can totally see why closeness can scare us, especially with us talking about the trauma of love, right? And not saying that love necessarily is traumatizing, but let's be honest, right? A lot of us have experienced trauma from the people who first taught us about love. A lot of us started off our earth journey in some traumatizing experiences that were that were caused by the people who told us from day one that they loved us. And we received a lot of messages about what love meant. And so I can totally see how a lot of us have nervous systems that are wired to experience love, and already we're waiting for the next shoe to drop. We're already waiting. Okay, things have been feeling too good for too long. Now what? Oh no, I like you too much. What's gonna happen? Like that makes a lot of sense because
Right. Whew. Um, I mean, and then that's the thing about having the courage to love as hard as I know I can love,
mm-hmm.
and still be willing to face whatever comes with it. Because
Yep.
that fear of loss can be so great until I miss the opportunity to love, miss
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to experience love at its fullness, at its height, at its depth, its width, its length, um,
Yeah.
and as far as it can reach me, but as deeply as it can reach, that depth also comes with the fear of as deeply as it touches is as deeply as it will hurt
Yeah.
when I don't
Whew,
have it
okay.
anymore, when it leaves my life, when I have to walk away.
But
Whether
then
that's me
I got
walking
a
away
question,
from, go ahead, go ahead.
right? Because I'm going back to that scripture that kind of inspired this conversation, right? No fear in love,
Hmm.
perfect love drives out fear. And I
Hmm.
literally had like this visual, right?
Hmm.
Like the fear is there. We're all human beings. Actually, I don't know why we always act like fear is like this horrible thing. Fear keeps us alive. It is a survival instinct to make sure that we have a healthy amount of fear in our lives. But this idea, the way I'm seeing it, right? Like I'm visualizing love pulling up, right? We sitting here with the fear. The fear is our companion, and love pulls up and puts fear in an Uber, and it's like, yeah, go to where you need to go. Like send that fear on home because fear is not to be our home. We don't have to live there. It does not have to live with us. It can visit. It can give us what it's supposed to give us, but fear is not meant to just be there every second of the day, controlling every choice we make. So my question to you, because as you're talking about really how fear oftentimes will keep you from actively loving, right? Because you're already saying you love a person. But then now you're talking about not just loving on the inside or how you think about them, how you feel about them, what regard you hold them in, but now the active loving. What helps you to do it? What helps you to push past that?
Pushing past the fear to love.
Yes, ma'am. Because I
Um,
feel like I've gotten a lot of love from you. And I mean, we didn't even grow up together.
right. Um, oh God, this is about to get super mushy.
Uh-oh, hold on. Before we get mushy, welcome to Two Cousins, One Couch. If you just got here, I see Elevate here. Hey, hey, hey. Hey to everyone. I saw, Liz was talking about love is in the air. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for being here again. Get comfortable. You know what I mean? We got a couple of recliners in here. We got an air mattress in the middle of the floor. Make yourself at home. And if you just got here, let us know what your church announcements are. How are you showing up? How are you feeling in this moment? All right. We
Oh,
back.
we have a question in the chat.
Oh, I see it just popped up. See, I'm looking
Interesting.
at two screens. Yeah,
Can
absolutely.
can love have different levels of access?
You should pin that one. I don't know how to do it.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Yeah, I feel like that needs to be a pint. How do you spell pint? It's not like pint, but I need the T at the end of it.
PINNEDT.
Oh, put the T at the end of it. Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Tina, you wanna keep going where you were going and come back to this question, or do you want to stop and answer this question?
Whew.
Yeah.
Oh, when you want my answer first, cuz.
You know what? I'm here I'm just flowing with it because I'm trying to make sure that I don't let the squirrel take over my brain. But also, I mean, what's wrong with a little squirrel here and there?
I do get that. Whew, Lord.
Go ahead and answer the question. Let's go there first.
Well, man, I was not expecting to go here. I make the internal decision that if I perish, I perish. First. That's first and foremost.
Say that again. What's the internal decision? I gotta turn my
I
phone.
make the internal decision that if I perish, I perish. I
Got
will
it.
hang my hat on this love. Secondarily, with that, oh, I uh,
Mm.
don't like this.
Okay. All right. We in it.
But
We
we
in it
in
now.
we in there. Halt. The once I come to a place of if I perish, I perish. With that, coupled with that, is the thing of I'll lay down my life for you.
Ah.
That is the better way of saying it, other than how I used to say it, which is I'll take a piercing instrument in my body on your behalf.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Okay.
that's
We
how
talking
that's
about
the depth.
levels.
That is the depth of my love when I love. That's why I don't give it freely. It
Well,
means something. It means something to me if I say I love you because everybody don't get it.
I can see why. We would have been at your damn funeral already if
Well,
everybody was getting that kind of love.
well, I'm just saying that's the
Sure.
depth. That's the depth. But it takes me a while to get there. This ain't
Got it.
just no, oh, I missed you yesterday. You wonderful. I love you. Lies and
Right.
hot garbage. We would have gone through some things. We would have experienced some things. Um,
Mm.
and and there of course are different components to it,
Mm.
depending on who you are. There are different components. And when I say different components, I say that because there are relationships that I have with people that I have not known that long, but the depth of who they are draws me. Not because they fine, or they Rico Suave in the throat. Pause. But it's more so because
I was
ain't
like,
no sweet,
whoa,
ain't no
this is
sweet
cousins
nothings
after dark.
convincing me of nothing. I'm just saying, ain't no sweet nothings convincing me of
Yeah.
a cotton picking thing. However, if I see a heart, or if a heart is revealed to me, And I say specifically revealed to me, meaning
Yeah.
I don't have access to a normal access to this
Mm.
particular place, but it's been shown to me in a way to where I can receive it. And that's as best as I can put it.
Girl, let's take a moment because shit. Um,
Oh God.
okay, so clearly there are levels to access, right? To answer that question. I'll
Absolutely.
give my take. Tina's take went all the way in to sacrificial loving like the Christ. I can guarantee y'all that I will not be. Um, can love have different levels of access? Absolutely, if you ask me. Because I have a genuine love for every human being on this planet. I do. I don't fuck with everybody on the planet though. I don't. I'm
Hmm.
quite particular,
Hmm.
actually. And I have met people who have hung out with me and they really think that I just be out here just liking everybody and oh, I was like, she's just so cool and so sunny and so friendly. And I mean, there's a facet of my personality that's like that. And Tina might say a pretty sizable facet of my personality. Um,
Hmm.
but I am so particular. And so to answer that question, yeah, definitely different levels of access, right? Because to
Hmm.
me, when I think of love, I think, and and although I am not a member of a church, I don't profess to be a card carrying Christian or anything of that nature. But I was raised in it, and I spent a good chunk of my adult life churched, and so a lot of my foundation comes from Christianity, and so for me, one of the things that just kind of stuck with me, and it never left, was God is love. And so for me, that simplifies things because I'm like, well, if God is love, got it. Love is God. That means if I'm choosing to be in love or to love, then I'm already, in divine alignment. That's just how I look at it. It simplifies things for me. And God is discerning. You know what I mean? God ain't necessarily just out here giving the same level of access to any old everybody. That's not how it works. You don't become the most high, right? You don't get to walk around with
Hmm.
that label,
Hmm. Definitely.
right? Just throwing all your pearls to all the little swine out here. No, there's levels to this thing. There's
Mm-mm.
there's
Mm-mm.
a vetting process.
You
There
people
are
ain't getting it. Yes, go ahead.
there's requirements. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And when you think of love, or I use it synonymously with God or the Most High or Creator, Source, however you're going to word it. This is the same energy that's been here since before the beginning of time,
Hmm.
and will be here long after all these planets are gone, long after this species has cleared the world. This is infinite energy, for lack of a better word, that will always be here. And I just don't think that you get that kind of staying power just giving it away. Right? What's
No,
the
no, no.
that's sort of like that
Well,
they play that on the internet all the time. They take me through that and she be like, she don't know
uh-huh.
what she doing. This bitch just giving it out. Like that's
Hmm.
not love. That's something else.
I mean, well, that's the thing about there's a exclusivity,
Okay.
as it pertains to that kind of love. And it
Yeah.
holds a value that is ranked above everything else. And not
Yeah.
everyone, I like what Danielle said. Danielle said that is a discerning, discretionary,
Yeah.
defined love. Not many are able to tap into that type of love. And so I don't give everyone access to those depths. There's not even a way to tap into that as it pertains to me. Because I'm like, you don't fit the bill. You don't, that's not it, honey. Hey, you're wonderful, I'm sure, wherever you at. Get it to them because I don't have room for that. That comes with something that I don't want, or that comes with something that I don't even have a capacity for. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. There has to be something else because at the end of the day, where I am as it pertains to love is I value love.
Yep.
above many things.
Yep.
And because of that, I'm like, you have to do some climbing to get there,
Yep.
unless you've been placed there divinely. That's
Yep.
different.
Yep.
Either way, it ain't easy.
No.
Because even when it come to God, God ain't giving everybody access to me like that. And I don't want it to be like that either. I'm not trying to be no open sesame, no revolving door. Ain't no walking in. No, 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 no. You know. So.
And I think it's necessary. This is something I've had to learn. I remember when I was a kid, because again, by nature, right? And I'm gonna be, I honestly have a genuine love for every human being, right? By nature, I am trying to group hug the entire world, right?
Mm,
As a
mm-hmm,
child, my mama used to say, some kids bring home stray animals. My baby gonna bring home some stray people, and she
mm,
wasn't lying. Um, I was
mm,
bringing home stray people up until I was easily 40, you know,
mm-hmm,
and and because I didn't have what Danielle was talking about, right?
mm-hmm,
I was very much, giving my pearls to all the swine. I thought
mm-hmm,
that if I could love people enough, that my love could transform people to be better. And
mm,
I really walked around, with this wild ass traumatic God complex that wasn't doing that. It was whipping my ass the whole time. I'm not even gonna lie.
mm-hmm,
Um, and I just kept doing it, right? And I think going back to what do we learn about love from
mm-hmm,
the people who are supposed to love us? I
mm-hmm,
learned early in life that people will mistreat you and say that they're loving you, right? I remember my mama, she'd get through whipping my tail and then make me hug her and kiss her and tell her I loved her at the end of it. I thought that was trash. But
mm,
what was the messaging that I received? If you
mm,
mistreated me, that doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it because you don't love me. I'm here holding this complexity at the age
mm,
of 5, 6, 7 that,
mhm,
oh, people might love you, but yeah, they might treat you like trash. And it took me some time to become more discerning about, how I would allow people to access the depths of my love.
mhm. Hmm, that's interesting. I think back to my own childhood, and I didn't get a whole lot of whippings. I mean, I got a plenty. I'm
Not a
not
whole
gonna
lot,
sit
just
here.
plenty.
Yeah, I mean, well, I had to think about what I was comparing myself to, or who I was comparing myself to. 'Cause I have a younger sister who got whoopings just about from the whole family. Me, on the other hand, I didn't get that many, but the ones I got meant something. You know, I
Got it.
needed something. And then the hard part about that though is um because of, and this will be the hard part for me, that I think that I have to consider sometimes.
Mm,
Everyone does not have my upbringing. And so what would happen is my mother would give me a whooping, or stepfather, whoever, give me a whooping. And when it was over, I went back to acting like everything was normal. I would sit right beside my mama and watch TV. No
gotcha.
argument. I would have gotten my face together, to stop with the ugly cry, the sniffles, and then go back right in there and sit down after, my face is straight, and we can go back and watch a TV like nothing happened. Well, with that came the thing of I wasn't treated any differently either.
Got it.
What it later on happened was, well, of course, I admittedly was sneaky, the majority of my life. And so there were parts of my life that were not um everyone did not necessarily know. So when they found out, they was like, oh dang, she terrible. You know what I'm saying? She been out here doing everything. She just ain't getting no whoopings. And what happened was I get out of prison, because of course my behavior never changed until I went to prison, and or a little bit after that too. But it was then I was like, why are people treating me differently? I'm the
Yeah.
same person. I don't understand why I've done my time. I took my punishment,
Yeah.
there wasn't no slap on the wrist. I got a whooping by life, by society. And so
Yeah.
when I got finished, I was like, I don't understand why I'm being treated this way. But it was because of the things that I had learned early on about you don't necessarily have to um, act a certain way just because people didn't like what you did. People do know how to forgive. People do know how to move on from that space because you did what was necessary to for a recompense or whatever, or um, a reconciliation or what have you. And so when it came to that, the thing was, I had to reconsider that no, people can hold grudges against you. People can really be upset. People can not trust you for years on
Mm,
end.
mm,
And so, because of that, it affected how I saw relationships.
mm.
And because I'm like, how do I know you love me um if you haven't even made it to the place where you can trust me? Even if I say I'm not who I used to be or I don't do what I used to do. And for a while I'm like, if you don't trust me, I don't trust you. So now I'm
Mm.
blocking myself off from people. That's an area I still have trouble with as it pertains to trusting individuals. And it's not even a thing of they did something to me. It's just now I have an automatic distrust
Got it.
as it pertains to relationships, people getting close, but all because um, I wasn't given the opportunity to make it right. Therefore, I can't trust whether this good gesture is something to be held over my head later. I
Got.
can't trust.
Ooh.
Hey,
Yeah.
we
Mm-hmm.
here. I can't
Yep.
trust whether or not uh I can trust the things that you say, which are endearing, which
Yep.
are complimentary.
Yep.
I can't trust your support because how do I know that your support is just because you're trying to look a certain way, seem a certain way? There are so many things that I experienced um, that shaped the way I see loving individuals and shaped the way that I see trusting individuals. Because to me, trust and love goes hand in hand. Trust, love, and respect.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
feel
we
like there's
we
no,
agree on that. They all go hand in hand for me too.
yeah, yeah. And so when I have an element of that that's missing, 9 times out of 10, the love is shaky. If I don't trust you, mm, the love might be shaky. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't, if I can't trust you, then it's a thing of I don't trust if you love me.
Well, yeah, right. Because doesn't love always trust?
Um, that's a good question. Does love always trust?
I was just quoting a little scripture that popped in my
I mean,
brain.
I thought about the love, love believing all things, hopes all things. Um,
And depending on certain translations would write that out as love always trusts.
and I get that. I get that. I get that.
Now you're trying to
Um,
see how you feel about it though.
how I feel about it is this.
Let's go.
When it comes to love in its purest form, there is safety in it. In that safety, I can rest my laurels.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, if there, but we're describing perfect love, a love that has elements of wholeness to it.
Yeah.
If I'm not in that space, I'm on
Heard.
rocky ground,
Yep.
and the stance is unstable because I'm looking to, so to speak, balance my footing on something. I can't fully lean on you because I'm leaning too much on me.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. I totally hear where you're coming from, right? Because I think this goes back to that question that Danielle asked, right? About love having different levels of access. And see, I look at trust the same way. I had some little cousins that were over here earlier. One's 5, one's 1.
Mhm.
I know, and I'm always working with the 5-year-old on trust, right? Because I'll give her responsibilities that probably nobody else would give her. But I'm like, girl, you 5, you over here fooling with me now. I'm not finna baby you. So, I have her in the kitchen taking on responsibilities, but I won't have her use a sharp knife. All right. I'll let
Mhm.
her measure. I'll let her stir. I'll let her toss, salads. I'll let her, put trash in the trash can. I'll let her wipe counters down and put dishes in, age appropriate responsibilities. I'm not going to let her drive a car. She's 5. She has
Mhm.
not earned the trust to drive a car, but she is trustworthy enough to do light house chores. She is trustworthy enough to help me with things. And I always ask her, can I trust you to do this?
Mhm.
And she, heck yeah, because she wants to be chosen. She wants somebody to know that, she can do something new and do it well. And so I think that just like we have levels of access to the deepest parts of our love, I'm the same way with trust. And I just like I say, I genuinely love every human being on this earth, right?
Mhm.
I trust everybody too. I just don't trust everybody with the same level of responsibility, right? I'm not going to trust my 5-year-old cousin to drive me anywhere or use a sharp knife. I'm just not. My 1-year-old cousin, I'm not even going to trust her to tell me when her diaper is full. She ignorant. She will walk around with a full load of just what happened. And she's not going to cry about it. She's not going to tell you. She's just living life. So I can't even trust her with that diaper. But there are
Mhm.
ways that I can trust this 1-year-old, right? She's going to let you know when she's ready to eat. She's going to let you know when she don't want to do what you're telling her to do, because now she's gotten into the habit of saying no. And she said just like that. So
Mhm.
I've learned to trust the 1-year-old just enough to know that she's going to act a certain type of way. I think trust is earned. I think
Mhm.
trust is currency. And
Mhm.
I say, everybody in my life, I trust you, but what do I trust you to do? How much can I trust that you have the capacity to get deeper and deeper into a love space with me? That's just me. Let's check in with the, hold on, we got a lot going on in this chat.
I was seeing something that Danielle said. Danielle said, which requires a different set of criteria. Not everyone can give that love. Not everyone can
Mm-hmm.
receive that love or
Mm-hmm.
reciprocate that kind of love.
Yep. These are facts.
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
supernatural love. Hold on. Hold on. Supernatural. Quite different. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
She said
see.
that a minute ago about supernatural love. Mm-hmm.
Trust, love, and respect go hand in hand. Oh, we got Stash on here, got their butt whooped. They
Mm-hmm.
deserved it. They needed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. What were we gonna say, cuz?
I just understand that when it comes to um I don't have the same motto about want to love everybody in the world. I don't even want to have to love
Yeah,
everybody in the world. Do I want to show them a facet of love? Yes, I mean to be gracious. At least I desire to be gracious,
yeah,
merciful, kind. Um, um, I mean, really, if I go down the gamut of um, a description rather of the fruits of the spirit. Um, and so
right.
love, joy, peace, faithful, um, goodness, gentleness, meekness, self
Yeah,
control. If
yeah,
I'm exhibiting those attributes,
yeah,
that is as much love that I could possibly show a person.
yeah. What's wrong
But
with
when it
that?
comes to interpersonal relationships,
Okay, let's go.
a person has access to me in a way that allows them a different set of grace
Of
that
course.
supersedes that of those whom I do not know.
Right. I mean, but we're saying the same thing. I'm saying I have a general love for everyone. But now
No,
when we start getting into
I don't got it.
interpersonal, Then what did you just get through saying? Why did you just go through naming all of these facets of love?
Because what I'm saying is it's not natural for me.
Okay.
It's not
Right.
natural for me to exhibit mercy, for one,
Got it.
because I can be vindictive, naturally so.
Heard.
You know, I'm not always gracious, because people get on my everlasting nerves sometimes. And I'm like, look at him,
Please.
and
And
so,
thank you.
you know, and so when it comes to things like that, I know where I fall short. In those
So,
particular areas, I'm like, it because I'm not naturally like that.
yeah.
I'm not too quick to say that I want to embrace everyone, knowing that I can be abrasive. I don't want to
Right.
embrace everyone, being that I can be abrasive, you know. And it takes a special group of people, or persons or what have you, to be able to love me past my flaws, love me past my own inconsistencies,
Yeah.
um, love me beyond my mistakes and my bad choices,
Yeah.
um, and mishaps and mistakes and mistakes. And so I think about that in relation to, that's why I'm like, I only had a capacity to love as hard as I do with a certain amount of people. And then after that, I ain't even open. I don't like, it sounds crazy for me to say,
Well,
but then again,
it,
not really. But I
it
don't
don't
like
sound
people like that.
crazy.
Well, I'm talking about the
It
whole
don't
thing
sound
of,
crazy, especially after you defined what love is for you. Because remember, you went back to the
uh-huh.
professor to give up your life, and I ain't giving up my life for no nigga. I'm sorry, I haven't met the person. I'm going to give up my
Mhm.
life for none of y'all. Now, I might take a life in the name of love, but I ain't giving shit. I'm just gonna keep it a stack. It's not. It's not a thing. Like what? That's for the martyrs. That ain't for me. So
and
I'm
I
hearing you.
and it very well could be that I may be a natural martyr.
Yeah.
I'll take on the punishment.
Yeah.
I'll take the blame.
Yeah.
I'll take on whatever it is that is going to keep someone else safe. What I don't like
Yeah.
is a slap in the face, and you can continue to do the thing that you weren't supposed, that got me in the position in the first place to take up for you, or take on whatever it is that was going to hit you. Because
Oh.
of that, I'm
Yeah.
very limited as well as it pertains to who I'm in those types of spaces with. Because I'm like, I ain't with the ones that's just trying to take advantage of me.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. And I think because I've spent a good chunk of my life um sacrificing myself, right? I think I'm now in a place of life where I'm like, nah, anybody who would put me in a position to have to martyr myself in any way,
Hmm.
they don't get access to that part of me.
Hmm.
Because why are you doing that? Why would you even do that? And so that's just a space where I'm at in life. I mean, I probably wasn't finna die for anybody anyway, but I
Hmm.
have been homicidal on behalf of some people I've loved many times. And I'm not a person who's often afraid of a lot of consequences and punishment, because I've experienced some intense consequences and punishments. So that
Hmm.
don't phase me as much. But how am I love you if I'm dead? You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to love you from the ancestral plane too early, baby. Like, let me go ahead and love you while I'm on earth with the capacity that I have. I
Hmm.
just ain't in no rush to get off earth. Like, I know some people think earth is ghetto. I think earth is just fine. I'll stay a while.
Um, I don't care. I
Yeah.
can't tell you I ever did. I
Yeah.
don't remember a time where I cared.
Makes
Um,
sense.
and but there are a lot of things that I, whew, I would just feel like I'm about to jump into some theological, but that's no different than the same way I feel about life is the
Yeah.
same way I feel about heaven. It
Yeah.
exists, but I'm not in a rush to, nor am I trying to live for that necessarily that goal or preservation of that goal or whatever that is. That's not my thing. That is not the my I know that life is temporary. This is something I know. I know life is temporary. It's temporary for a lot of people, myself included. With that being said, I do not fear unenlivenment.
Right.
'Cause at any given moment, you can leave.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that you can do to stop it.
Yeah. When
If,
it's your time, it's your time.
you know, that on the other hand, um, that doesn't mean I want to live foolishly. It's just
Right.
the thing of I don't have a fear in that department. I don't. On the other hand, it's not a thing of, oh, I'm trying to get into the sea of pearly gate and a street of gold. That don't phase me either. My thing
Right.
has always been I want to be connected to my creator throughout the eons of time. I
That
care
part.
about nothing else. That is in this life or the life to come. That's my now, that's my later, that's my ever. I
Right.
don't care about nothing else. That means more to me than anything, including this frail thing called life. Because as much as there are a lot of people that live to be 135 and all of that, kudos to you. I don't care about that.
Right. You don't value that.
I don't value it. I don't at
Yeah.
all. That does not mean I don't like life in and of itself. It's beautiful. I love the connections. I love the people that I love. I just said I love them to the point of whatever. On the
Right.
other hand, it's like, but if I can make your life better in whatever time that I've been allotted to have that time to share with you,
Yeah.
that will be more of my goal than to just be there for the sake of being there.
Well, I feel you. No, I'm all about having a purpose for it. Now, I ain't just here trying to waste life.
I mean, but my
Work.
thing is, my purpose can be fulfilled in 2 years. You
It
know what I'm
can be.
saying? And
Absolutely.
so with that, I don't want my living to be in vain. But I don't
Right.
care if it
Feel that.
ain't if forever either. You
You
know.
said if it's 5 minutes or 500 years, you just need it to
Yep.
matter.
I need it to matter. That's all. That's all I care about. I just want it to matter.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you on wanting it to matter. And I'm just
Hmm.
gonna throw in for me, I'd like for it to be long, healthy, and with as much joy as I can squeeze into the long, healthy life that I would desire for myself. And that's probably why we have these, kind of different approaches. And I've been reading this book by Bell Hooks called All About Love, and I've just been
Hmm.
hooked on her. And she quoted this psychologist. I can't think of who the psychologist is, but in her book, she describes that love it's the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth.
Hmm.
And I've been sitting with that. And that actually resonates with me. All right, extend myself? Yes. For the purpose of my own growth or another person's spiritual growth? Yes.
Hmm.
To me, that's a little bit more inviting to me, and it resonates with me a little bit more than me dying. Now, if we're talking about like, just in a poetic way laying down my life,
Did you
right?
know that YouTube don't like that word?
Dying.
Hmm.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay, so what's the word they like for moving on,
Unalive,
passing away?
Demise, pass away,
transition
something. Yeah.
transitioning
Yes.
into the next phase.
Mhm.
Clean me up, cuz um, you know, I don't, I'm not trying to offer that kind of love to anybody unless we're talking about in the poetic sense, right? Like
Mhm.
laying down my life in a sense, like I will allow myself to be inconvenienced. I will extend myself. Maybe we'll sacrifice my ego, sacrifice some limiting beliefs, sacrifice the old version of me so that I can become who I need to be so that I can show up in love. I'm with that all day. But
Mhm.
when I'm done loving you, I'm gonna need to go ahead, get up out of here and still have all my faculties in order so I can love another day. That's where I'm at. Cause your love might be a little deeper than mine, because I can guarantee you, don't even expect it from me.
Mhm.
But I'll fight for you. You know what I'm saying? But it
Mhm.
gotta make sense too. Some people be all they be ready to ride at dawn. And hold on, I got questions. Why are we riding? First of all, like, I'm not the person that's just finna pull up just because. Like, we finna ride down on why, but why? What happened? Explain it to me from the beginning.
Mhm.
I've, I've always been that kind of person. Like, we can't just, let's make it make sense.
Mhm.
If I'm gonna risk my life to potentially be in a situation with you, let me understand could this be resolved with a conversation? I'm
Mhm.
always gonna wonder, is this something that we could discuss? Must we ride at dawn? Or can we send a text message first?
Mhm. My thing is, um, I think some of it has come from my relationship with children.
Mm,
I had taken on the role of protector
yeah,
um with some children that I was raising. And because of that, it made me care less about what I wanted for myself, what I needed for myself. And it
yeah,
had me to turn my attention to those that could not do anything for themselves.
right,
That experience, because that's the thing, I don't have any children. But when I
right.
was
We have
put
that
in
in
that
common.
position, when I was put into that position, it made me less selfish to the
Mhm.
point of there was an incident one time with the kids that I was raising. I had been raising at one point in time and I left.
Right, right.
I was preparing to go into the army and I had left to go to Georgia in preparation. And while I was out there, there was an incident that occurred um, with the kids that I was raising. So I came back, you know, ready to regulate. And it was in that moment, like it dawned on me that I didn't care um what was going to become of me in that
Yeah,
moment. I didn't care about what was to happen to me in
yeah.
that moment. I just knew and the incident was they were at their uh, they were at a daycare center, one of those home daycare centers. And the person who owned the place I was close to, they called me and said there was an incident where somebody pulled a pew pew on the kids.
Oh, that's too much.
No, 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 no. They pulled the pew pew out on them in front of the kids.
Also too much.
Exactly. Too many pew pews, too many incidents, too many eyeballs on what happened. So I took my happy tail from Georgia and came back to Tennessee to regulate.
Yeah,
Needless to say, I was like, this is enough of this. I got them from here on out.
yeah, yeah.
You
Had to put
know,
your foot down.
yeah, because I'm like, no, I can't risk. I thought that I was putting them in good hands, and these were
Mm,
these folks' neighbors. I'm like, you can't even miss access because they're next door to you. All they got to do is get out and go home, and there's another situation. And so I was like, I'm in the middle of trying to make things work in Georgia, and I'm like, I can't do this. I got to go
Yeah.
back, you know. And so I think about that as it pertains to when you come into one of those spaces where you're willing to um, lay it all down.
Yeah.
Once you meet that place, it's kind of easy to get there.
I didn't hear what you
It,
said.
it's kind of easy to get there.
Maybe,
And I
maybe,
say
maybe.
and I say that because it's like going to prison. Once you've done time, you could do time. Whether you do 1 day, 10 days, 10 years. Once you have done some time and you get a good rhythm going, you kind of it's just falling in line with whatever the schedule is. Eventually you get used to it. And so while you don't ever want to go back, like I don't ever want to be put in a position where I feel the need or the desire to have to cover any more children
Not
in
like
that
that.
fact. I don't,
Sure.
I don't. However, being in that space where if I had to make a choice, if it was me or them,
Yeah,
it was easily me.
I feel that. I feel that.
Easily me. No
Yeah,
hesitation. It's me
yeah,
all day. And I don't have to
yeah,
think about it. I didn't have to blink about it. I didn't have to, pray, cry, moan. No, I don't want it to be me. No, come and get me.
yeah,
Come and get me for the sake
yeah,
of them. And so when you're in that position, it does have a tendency to pull on how deep is your love? What are the depths of that love? But that same thing had come up where I needed to leave someone because of love. I cannot be a part of what you have going on and say I love
yeah.
you at the same time. I
Oh,
must
do you
leave.
think you can leave someone and still love them? That it's a loving act sometimes to separate from a person?
Have to.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yes, because it's one of those things of just because being there does not automatically mean you love them because you can be there and be abusive.
Absolutely.
And well, just the opposite. Just because you're leaving someone doesn't mean you love them.
Right.
You can love them and not be in close proximity.
Yeah.
And in some situations, if I don't leave, I enable you. And my
Yep.
enablement causes you harm. And the last thing I want to do is to be complicit in your harm.
Yeah. Because enabling is definitely not love.
Yes, it's
I
not.
hear you. And just to hop in on what you were saying about once you do it, may that love never find me. Like, no. I've been in some, now I'm extremely protective all day.
Mhm,
I've been in some life or death situations a few times, especially when it came to my family.
mhm,
And like I said, now I'm willing to end an entire bloodline if I think it's necessary, right?
mhm,
For the people I love. I'm just not into me. And I've been
mhm,
in some intense situations. It never even crossed my mind. My mind was so on neutralize the threat, make sure that my people are good. And when I tell you, like, and I think you might have hit on something earlier because you were like, maybe I'm just naturally a martyr.
mhm.
It never even crossed my mind that I would even have to. Because I knew. And once I get in that space, I'm like, if y'all cross this line where me and my people are in here, please understand that I am in this space where we're all going to walk out of here fine, but you won't. And I made
Mhm,
that very clear.
mhm,
I made that very clear. So I know, like, for me, again, I think we just show up differently. And I don't necessarily think martyrdom makes your love deeper. I think it's an interesting take on love. But No,
I wouldn't.
I don't want none of that. For me, I don't want it.
I don't. I wouldn't say that it's deeper than anyone else's. How it's expressed is different. There,
It's very different.
because my thing
But it is like
is,
the Christ, you know what I mean? So I mean on some biblical stuff, I
but
tip my hat to you.
my thing is this. I've been like this for a long time. There
Yeah.
were other. How can I put this without telling all my business? There were
Mhm.
there were other situations that I've had in life
Yeah.
where my loyalty said that if it comes to this,
Yeah.
if it means my demise,
Yeah.
I'm with it all the way.
Yeah. I hear that. And you said your mind already went there. My mind ain't never even thought that, especially if I'm in a protective mode.
Hmm.
Once I'm in that protective mode, my mind don't even think about anything happening to me. It's like
Hmm.
in my mind, I'm invincible. Once I go into that protective mode, where me and mine, we gonna get up out of here. I don't care how.
Hmm.
The idea of me not making it does not even cross my mind.
Hmm. I mean, but my thing is, everyone doesn't have the run to the fire mindset, run
No,
into
of
the
course not.
flames mindset. There are a lot of people that might grab the water hose and put it on the fire.
I mean, if
Point
that's
it.
an option, though, I think it's a good option to at least try. Some people just be running to fire. The hose is right there.
Well, my thing is, if I'm holding the hose
Yeah.
and somebody needs to go in,
Right.
take this hose from me and let
Yeah.
me go.
I feel that.
And if I got to,
I feel that. I do.
whatever that got to be done, I'll go get them. You know,
Yep. I feel
and
that.
I've been in situations even in ministry, and those who know, though, when I've
Yeah.
been in ministry and going into the street and
Both
talking
streets.
the whole street, the inner part of the street, you know there's the thing of I'm talking to someone about God while we all got to lay on the floor.
I love how you say God. God. Continue.
I mean, I'm just telling the truth. We all got to lay on the floor because
Yeah.
the then came through, and so when it's like that, I don't have time to be afraid.
Nah.
I don't have time to be, oh, they're gonna do this, and what if this
Mm-mm.
happens? It's like,
Mm-mm.
no, I was out there with the
Yeah.
and before I made the decision that I want to live differently.
Yep.
Why would I
That's
turn
just who
around
you
and be a
are.
coward now? It's who I am. I
It's just who
am
you
who
are.
I am. I
I
am
feel
who I
that.
am. Yes. And it's
Yeah.
okay that everyone
Yep.
does not have that mindset. I don't expect everyone to run into the flames to
And
get
I
to
think
me.
even with that, right? Because I didn't ran in some flames. I just don't be thinking that anything's gonna happen to me. So that might be a little bit of, my type of crazy. I'd have been in some death defying situations or life defying situations. I don't know what's
Yeah.
easy. I've been in some situations where
Yeah.
if we look back on it, interesting that I made it out of those. But when I tell you it never crossed my mind that I wasn't going to make it out, because once I'm set in my mind that it is going to be what it is, I just don't even like, I would be shocked to wake up somewhere else. Because I just be so focused, like it's finna be what I say it's finna be. I think that's just where my mind goes when we're in an emergency situation, unless I really do see like, oh, the best course of action is we got to get up out of here, all of us,
I
right?
mean, and that's the thing though, because I've had so many close calls.
Right.
The whole thing of having being in the middle of a few drive-bys,
Yep.
um the whole, it was what it was. I mean, and that's the thing about being in those types of situations
Right. Right.
where it's like, is this the day? I've had
Right.
those moments also when it came to getting pulled over.
Whew.
I've gotten pulled over before, and I'm like, Is this the day? Where I'm on, like at the time I was on parole. I'm on parole. I'm like, is this the day that is over? Because
Yeah.
I know what's going on. I took the
Yeah.
when I was, taking the risk that I was taking. I knew it's a possibility. If I go down the street, turn this corner, and then the blue lights come on, is this the
This
day?
might be the day.
So I would have already considered um
Yeah.
the measures that I may meet because due to my decision. You
Right. And
know,
like you say, if I perish, I perish.
if I perish, I perish.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I feel that. And remember, we were talking the other day about this situation when I got arrested and the cop wanted me to get out the car.
Hmm.
And I look back on it and I'm like, huh, that could have gone very differently, especially the way I was acting, right?
Hmm.
But again, when I tell you it never crossed my mind that that was even an option, I
Hmm.
really do think that something happens. Like something takes over me when I go to that place. I don't see. I can't even fathom. And now, once the nerves have come down and the amygdala is not in hijack anymore, I'd be like, huh, child, that was wild. You might not, like later, but in the
Hmm.
moment, that don't even it doesn't cross my mind. That's how I know that martyr stuff don't even be it don't be there. Let's catch up with these chats because we are behind. Hold on. I'm scrolling
I mean,
back.
they've been on the screen, but we ain't been saying too much of nothing. Oh,
Please
I
bring
ain't
our
waved at Nam
troops.
Soul. I ain't spoke to nobody. Look, I
Say
love
on your
y'all.
friends, cuz.
I love you all from the bottom of my heart, or at least a piece of it. I love some of
Let's
you
see.
all ever so deeply, but I have not waved nor acknowledged you tonight. Please take this moment to hear the sound of my voice and may it wrap around you like a hug, a firm handshake, a high five, a pat on the back. I can't go any further because it'll be a pause. But whatever you need at this moment, please know that you are acknowledged. Please know that I see you. I had to see you because I put your stuff on the jumbotron
On
the
the
screen.
Jumbotron.
Yeah, I have to
Yes.
remember where I'm at.
No, it is a Jumbotron. I like that better.
Yes. But please know that all of you all respectively, I thank you all for coming out, hanging with us, listening to us as long as you have. This has been an
Yes.
ongoing conversation now over an hour where we've been talking about the trauma of love and the
Sure.
depths of which it causes you to consider or not consider as it pertains to that love and how it's expressed. So, all of you all, thank you because I will get in trouble because I would have to go all the way back to an hour ago of comments. And I know I don't remember who all came in here, and some of them probably gone to bed if they not just letting it ride. Um, and might have to catch it on the rewind whenever they get up tomorrow. But thank you all. I appreciate you. I hope you believe me. Um, Back to you, cuz.
Well, I'm just checking in. This world is not our home. Ashe, let's live our life pleasing Him and only Him. All right, all right. The
That was
Christians
Leah.
are in the building. Respect, respect. Somebody was shocked that you went to the army or you almost went to the army.
Yeah, I
Love the beautiful
enlisted, but I didn't go
screen.
in because I was knucking and bucking and cutting up in Tennessee.
Cutting, knucking, and bucking.
Cutting, knucking, and bucking in the inner parts of
Risking her
Tennessee.
life.
Risking my whole life when I was supposed to be going the opposite direction.
Well, love
Yeah.
the beautiful screen. Oh, they like our screen, cuz blessings to us. We receive all that. And thank you so much for loving our screen. Um, oh, Tina Mo, he tapped in. Oh, okay. Hold on. Wait a minute. Episode 4 to Trauma. Dope title, sort of God. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. We appreciate all this. Mrs. Virgo, love don't live here anymore. Oh, I hope it live there a little bit, at least just a little bit.
Not a
You
little
know,
bit.
just a little tiny little, just a tiny little opening. You know what I mean? Let's
Hmm.
see. Hello, hello. everything be good in the beginning, but a hurt soul always want to swat souls. I be questioning myself for real, like who really loyal? Ooh, these are good questions. What emphasis she said it. All about self-care. 2026. I don't believe nobody can love for real. Ooh, I love this. I guess that's my trauma. I love these ladies speaking real facts. You ladies are phenomenal. Tina Mo, full of wisdom, smart lady, indeed. Makes sense. We know you love us, Queen. I told you they knew you loved them, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Trying. Gotta show love to the triple deuce queen. I don't need no shout out. I love the vibes. Keep talking. Real nigga activities. Okay, we made it through.
Mm-hmm.
With just a little
We
quick
in there
scroll.
like, yeah, a
We
quick
still in
scroll.
it.
Quick scroll. We still at it. Yes, indeed.
We still in there. So, I'm thinking about um we've gone into the depths of the risks of love, right? And how much are
Yes.
we willing to risk for love? Tina's gonna risk her life. Gozé will risk someone else's life. Okay. But we do know that where we both agree is that love can be the difference between life and the next life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? So we have both settled on that. Where we're going to take it, that might be a little different in terms of our execution. But now let's talk about, right, because we're already knowing that we're both agreeing that love, true love, right, is going to
Mm-hmm.
require uh, one to, at the very least, extend themselves, at the very most, sacrifice something. There is a cost
Yes.
for love. Love does not come cheap. Love is
No.
valuable. We talked about that earlier, right? You're not
Mm-hmm.
just going to give your pearls to the swine,
Mm-hmm.
right? Love is a valuable resource. Some believe, as someone shared in the chat, that love is a scarce resource. I'm not one of those people who believes that, but let's bring it into the conversation. So
We
we
have a
we
question.
know, yeah. What's the
Yeah.
question?
Ladies, can I question y'all? Do you all
Ooh, let's
believe
go.
in love in 2026?
Hell yeah.
Yes. Um, yeah, they said
Social
social
media
media water
water.
all this stuff now. Yes,
Correct.
I do. I most certainly do. Um,
Mhm.
Mainly because when it comes to being willing to do proper vetting, let me start with that. Um, you count up the cost before you invest. Before I turn over my heart, my resources, my finances, my space, I need to know who you are.
Yeah.
If I love who you are, not who you present, not who you pretend to be, if I love who you are,
Yeah.
then I have room to receive who you are and all of who you are. So, yes, I most certainly believe in it. I think there is
Yeah.
someone that has the capacity to love me as I am
Yeah.
as well, because I
Yeah.
don't think I'm a bad person. That's first and foremost. I
Period.
don't think, and while there are other elements, of course, we can all work on some. I got a little more ham on, the side, a little handlebars going on. I'm a little thickened.
A little ham, but
A
that's
little
more to love.
ham.
People
Hey,
love ham.
I'm in this piece. However, however, um, I do understand that there is someone with the capacity to love all of me. And I'm not afraid nor ashamed to receive it if the right time comes.
Whew. I love that question, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know if you were around earlier, produced by One Take on the Track. Oh, you producer, hey. Um, I know that we were talking about earlier, for me, God is love, right? Seeing love as synonymous with God kind of
Mm-hmm.
simplifies things for me. And so for me, if I believe in the Most High, then of course I believe in love. If I believe in love, then I got to believe that there is some sort of divine architect or orchestrator of this whole thing. Um, so it's very easy for me to believe in love, and to see humans as beings who are being perfected by love every day, meaning as we are all on a healing journey and we're all learning how to allow the fear to be driven out of us so that we can be perfected in love. It makes it easier for me to be gracious when we, ain't quite hitting, right? Because we're not always having a good day, right? Our last show, episode 3, Tina
Mm-hmm.
was having some physical ailments, or I think maybe your voice had gone hoarse.
Mm-hmm.
I was having some emotional ailments, and we talked about the show when it was over, and Tina was talking about what she thought worked, what she thought didn't work, and I was just like, you know what? I know I gave it the best I had for that day. I assume that everybody's giving it the best they have for that day, and that
Mm-hmm.
helps me. Like, to me, that is a loving act, right? To
Mm-hmm.
make the assumption that people are doing their best, to trust that people are doing the best that they can possibly do with what they have that day. So because I see that all the time, I'm like, man, there's a lot of love around. Everybody might not be the best at overcoming their trauma or even identifying their trauma, but I genuinely believe that most people are loving as best as they know how.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I'm trying to catch up with the chats.
There was a couple of things I wanted to highlight
Yeah.
that I saw. Take One, the producer, uh, produced by Take One, rather.
Okay.
Um, he said it's all about self care. 2026. I don't believe nobody can love for real. I guess that's my trauma. I love these ladies speaking real facts. It was something else that he said too. Um,
Now
no,
we
that
moved into
is
the marriage.
way
Oh,
past
somebody
that.
love them some ham. Just want you to know, Tina.
Jr.
Somebody said, Jay, I love him some ham.
Yeah, that's what he said. He loved him some
Listen,
ham.
I'm
I
just
know
saying, you
it.
don't want to put the ham out there. And so,
Hmm.
marriage, what it used to be all about each other, all in one. Nowadays, marriage is like being single. I don't know if the MFs I'm around, but married women don't act married. Oh, okay. Oh, do we want to take that sidebar? Or let's see. Prefer to start a friendship before I start a relationship because we all have our flaws. Co-host. Marriage is a spiritual thing. I don't
Hmm.
think everybody ready for it. A lot of relationships don't keep God in the center of the relationship or marriage. I see it daily at work. What kind of work you do? One take? What kind of work you be doing? When you're not producing, what else you be? Oh,
Miss Virgo
JR.
said, hmm?
JR is drooling in the chat.
Yeah, ham. Yeah. Miss Virgo said, but love can take you for ups and downs. It just depends on how you want to hit the ground running with love. I think that for the most part, people don't do proper vetting. All they see is hips and thighs and muscles and
Ham.
faux arms and ham and whatnot, and sausage. When they get through looking,
Oh,
I
hold
said what I
on. You
said.
have to relax. You gotta relax.
Hey,
You can't
something.
slide that in like that. Pause, pause, pause,
Hey,
pause,
pause,
pause.
pause. Don't slide that in. Uh,
Heavy pauses. Okay, I'm back.
Preemptive pause. The thing about that is, when it comes to marriage, if people don't date properly, and when I say date, I mean
Properly. Do people date?
get the data necessary to see if this is worth your investment. Because a lot of people see all of these aesthetics. They see all the stuff that looks good on paper, but they don't find out what's in the spirit of that person. What attitude do they carry? What characteristics do they have? What about this person is synonymous to where I'm headed? Can they handle where I am now? Where do they see themselves in the future? These are the things that need to be talked about, because you might have someone that's a CEO of a company who's just doing it so they can be a rapper next year. Can you handle that? They finna quit the whole corporate world so they could go and get like 2 chains. Can you handle that? Or what about the young lady that, that's been working hard, been in nursing school all this time? You think they finna be the next up and coming head nurse, but then you find out she really doing just paying for school, because what she planned on doing one day is becoming an OnlyFans model.
Yeah.
Have you checked out where her head is? Well, mm.
Wait, because I just want to say, pardon my ignorance. I would like to say that I will behave better, but I can't make any guarantees. What I can say is this. One thing I've noticed is, to piggyback on what you're saying about people don't date, people don't be dating, right? And I would say don't date, period. Not even people don't date properly. A lot of people do not date. A lot of people have never experienced dating, which is vetting and data collection, right? But I want to take it a little bit further. I don't believe that a lot of people understand what's the purpose of relationships. What is the purpose of interpersonal relationships? I'd love to see what y'all got to say in the chat, because I think a lot of times we want the perks of relationship, but we don't know the purpose of relationship.
Ooh, you talking good.
Right? So when most of us are going into what I call relation shops, these transactional silent or maybe not silent contracts, we're thinking about the perks. What can I get out of this relationship? Or for some of us who might have been raised in a similar traumatic upbringing as I was, what can I give? Right? I never even thought about what I got. I just thought I was supposed to come bearing an offering. So I always had something, because my mama taught me, you don't show up at nobody's house empty-handed. And I took that show on the road. So when you have this transactional mentality, right, that you're supposed to give or get, and you think of that as the purpose of the relationship, you're already missing out. Because the purpose, if you ask me, right, this is what I teach, relationships are here to grow us. Relationships are not here to make us happy. Relationships are not here to fill us with whatever we did not get as children. And a lot of us are so deeply wounded by what we grew up with that we are stuck in wherever the place the hurt hit the hardest. Right? Whether that was in your formative years, your teenage years, your early 20s. I don't know how old everybody is in this room, but a lot of us, we found ourselves stuck and stagnant based on where we received the hardest hit, the deepest pain, and we never actually matured past that. And so a lot of us really are thinking about love, about interpersonal relationships, like a child. We don't understand the purpose of the relationship, but we want all the perks. So when I hear some of the stuff people are saying about, people don't date right anymore, or people don't marry for the right reasons. Now, see, I would argue that people never did. Right? Just the institution of marriage as we know it in the Western world has always been rooted in transaction. I don't know why people be thinking like, oh, the transaction just went away. It didn't go away. Transaction, we just see it. We see it more clearly now. I think a lot of men are seeing it in a way that they've never seen it before. But what is the purpose? Tina, I'd love to hear what you think.
The purpose for marriage?
What's the purpose of any relationship? And you can go into marriage if you want.
Building community. It is for the betterment of an economy, on a personal note, on a communal note, on a societal note, and abroad. I think that relationships build community. It is the nucleus of community, is relationship. With that being the case, it helps you to navigate through life to do what is necessary for the sustainment of life. Um, um, send messages. Hold on, my bad.
We catching up. Oh, hold
No,
on. She talking about me for sure. What you talking about, JR? Who's talking about you and how? Catch us up. Who's
it's
talking about you and
business.
how they talking about you? And then marriage is supposed to be a spiritual connection. Nowadays, okay. Come on now. Well, okay. I mean, you seem like you wanna live here. So I mean, I'm down for going there. Go ahead,
I
T.
I look at because this is the thing about there are so many different kinds of relationships a person can have.
Yes.
Because we come from relationship. Out of what was produced from two people came the child. You are the child, which is the fruit of that relationship, good or bad or ugly. Um, at some point, they came together and formed a bond, and that bond created us, or you, or me. With that being the case, a family was born. Whether that family was broken or not, estranged, or what have you, um, it created the nucleus of a family, of a which would turn into being part of a community, a neighborhood, um, a culture is being passed down. Thoughts and ideas are being passed down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, resources are being passed down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and all of that is for um, legacy to continue.
Yes.
And so with the continuance of legacy, whatever that legacy is, because I'm not here to necessarily put a magnifying glass to judge someone else's legacy. What I
Right.
can say is there are good and bad legacies that come from these connections that
Um,
create these families that in turn create communal environments that turn into communities and what have you, and economies. Um, and so these things teach you how to deal with other people,
yeah.
what to expect from other people, what not
Yep.
to expect from other people. It is the place in which you use to be able to your leaning post for life
Right.
until you're able to create your own nucleus and take what you have gathered from those that were before you into your next phase of life, which is you being responsible for your community, your communal aspects, your interpersonal relationships and things of that nature.
Yeah. Felt. Felt. I mean, there's a lot of overlap in what I believe there, so I'm just gonna say felt. Um, Now I wanted to touch back on something about marriage. Okay, it came back.
Hmm.
All right, are we gonna lean into this?
I can go into the spiritual aspects, of course, because I feel like we're not here just to eat, drink, me, be merry, and just get what we can get out of this and then get on down.
Right.
I think that there is purpose as it pertains to spirituality, if that is what you believe in. The institution of marriage came from the idea that one man is to be with one woman or what have you. One
Mm.
individual is supposed to be from one individual. Now I'm still speaking from the Christian
I'm just
worldview.
saying Christianity got a lot of polygamy in it, so I'm just trying to, keep up.
Well,
That Bible got a whole
I'm
lot of polygamy in it, but
I ain't saying that it doesn't. What I'm saying is, In the beginning, the introduction was talking about two people. The concept of the two people is what the balance of what Christianity highlights as what is supposed to be. As if you were to connect what is taught now in comparison to where they got it from, at least in the Western world. Now, in other countries, I don't have nothing to do with that. I'm just talking about here in America because I'm American. With that being the case, I could say that though there have been aspects of it that have their polygamous roots, I also consider the fact that when it comes to marriage, um, the marriage, regardless to how you look at it or how you try to fix it, it was to produce. It is for the sustainment of mankind. It is for the furtherance of mankind in one way or another. With that being the case, the structure of it, I feel like has a greater purpose beyond just feeling good, eating good, sleeping good, and getting some money so you can, feel good the rest of your life. I think that it in by and large, what is taught from the Christian worldview is that marriage reflects um God's intention, original intention as it pertained to man, creating him and her in his image, and that representation going from there onward for the eons of time, throughout the eons of time, really. And so, um, yeah, I see you out the pit. The Bible has a whole lot of polygamy, but Christianity doesn't uphold that Old Testament. Um, yeah, definitely in the New Testament, they were not. That's not something they were preaching. Um, Most certainly. Um, Nor was there divorce either. So there's just a whole lot of things that have been kind of hijacked since the beginning of things. But I'm not here to have a biblical dissertation as it pertains to that particular thing. But what I can say is that at its the basic level of the furtherance of coming together to reproduce after their own kind, whether that's animals, whether that was people, whether that was fruits and vegetables. There was a seed that was planted in something, and the something reproduced after its own kind. So, what started from the beginning should continue based on those principles of seed time and harvest. Because if a man putting a seed in a woman, fertilizing that good egg, you gonna get you a baby. So I mean, and that's just to break it down at the bare bones. So my thing is, in that production, it gives the um picture of giving glory or showing forth God's glory in his creation. And that it's able to continue to almost sustain itself in the reproduction of itself.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your Christian perspective. I can respect that and appreciate that. If we go, because marriage has been around long before the Bible was written, long before Christianity was even introduced, right? People were getting married. So, when I think about the history of marriage, especially as we know it in the Western world, I would argue that marriage in the Western world has rarely ever been about spiritual connecting. I would argue that in the Western world, marriage has often been a transaction. This idea that marriage has only recently become transactional is wild to me. I mean, just looking at the history books, I'm like, what? Like, it's not, I don't, this idea that marriage is, that's something that you do because you are in love with someone or you want to be with this person for the rest of your life is actually recent. That's not it. That's not what marriage was seen as. It wasn't always this, oh, because I love you, then I want to spend the rest of my life with you. That is a pretty modern concept. So when I'm thinking of marriage, now I'm with you, Tina, when you talk about, um, some of the reasons for marriage, right? Definitely lineage. I'm with you 1,000%, right? Continuing, like us all coming together, some kinship. I think you were talking earlier about community. Um, yeah, marriage has definitely been about business. Marriage has absolutely been about business many times, right? Literally, marriage has joined one kingdom with another kingdom. Like, marry my daughter. This ain't got nothing to do with love. Marry my daughter, and then we will become allies. And if you're going to marry my daughter, then you need to pay a certain amount. There is an agreed upon transaction. It has been about business many times. Like, that's just the history, though. I mean, I'm not making it up. That's just the history.
I think that most relationships, period, have an aspect of it that is transactional, but it's not fully transactional. I think it's just an aspect. I understand that there are people that make up in their mind, I'm only marrying the person if I could get this from them. And I'm willing to
Mhm,
exchange for that, this, that, and the other to get it.
mhm, mhm.
I do understand that. However, just because a person is using it to get what they want does not mean that that was what it was for. And
I
so
guess it
my
really just depends on what culture we're talking about, right? Because again, if you're only going to look at it from the Christian standpoint, then okay, cool. I will respect your interpretation of the Christian religion. But if we're talking about marriage just throughout the course of history, then yeah, there has never been any one way that this has been approached.
what I'm saying is, though I do understand, excuse me, historical account, I still look at it from the lens of where I am in today in the culture in which we live. That
Hmm.
does not mean that there have not been people who attempt to rehash or try to live um, live marriage in a from a historical standpoint as it
Hmm.
relates to the other aspects that differentiate Western marriage from Eastern practices. What I
Hmm.
am saying, though, is with where we are today, I'm only speaking to where we are with the
Hmm.
mindset of most individuals that what they know marriage to be. Some of that is being redefined in nowadays,
Hmm.
being redefined by government agencies, being redefined by individuals who decide that's not the route I want to go. But by and large, uh, if you look at what the majority of it entails, it is in fact a thing where it has been somewhat transactional, but that has not been everything that has been taught throughout the years. Because there was a time where, especially in this particular country, where nobody had anything. It wasn't that type of exchange. And so when you have two people that get married that don't have much of anything, it's not
Hmm.
necessarily a thing as it pertains to, oh, I'm trying to get with this person because this is what I'm gonna get out of it. Or we're trying to build some kind of truce or something. And I get that in the historical accounts. But as of the past maybe 100 years, that has not necessarily been the case.
Well, yeah, but we're not disagreeing on that. I said that this
Mhm.
idea of people marrying for love is a modern concept. I said that, what, 10 minutes ago, right? But when people say, oh, marriage used to be spiritual and now it's transactional, I'm saying no. As far as how we understand marriage in the West, it has always been transactional. There's never been a time where any of us, in the time where we've been alive,
Hmm.
where marriage was not transactional in the West. None of us, see, we like to glorify the generations before us. And no disrespect, you know what I mean? I
How
do.
far are you going back when you say the generations before us?
The
Because if you
generations
turn,
that the baby boomers, we like to glorify the baby boomers and the silent generation right before the baby boomers,
Mhm.
as if their marriages were not transactional, as if this idea of marriage being transactional is new. And I'm saying that none of us, the history of the West has always made marriage a transaction. None of us have grown up since what, 400 BC. We weren't alive. It's been like that since before any of us were born.
Mhm.
Now, if you want to talk about your personal viewpoints on marriage, that's fine. I'm with it. But when we make a statement like it's spiritual, it was spiritual then, look at, and a lot of times I hear people saying this because I'm talking to Produced By, right? When you make a statement that back then it was one way and now it's transactional, I'm literally just saying, no, historically, that's not factual.
I think that what has been uh, introduced to men is that women are transactional, but men are not. And I think that some of the language that is used nowadays has a tendency to create a rift, separating original idea from what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Um, and so, to some degree, I can agree that yes, there have been, by and large, transactional types of situations. What has happened though is things have become emboldened, or people have become emboldened in their statement of saying, I'm only marrying you if you could do this, this, that, and this for me.
Hmm.
I don't think that language was a part of what was going on prior to now.
And
I
I
think
would
the
disagree strongly. I'm just looking at history again. I'm not talking about our feelings because I think sometimes we have an unrealistic idea of why people were getting married. And what I'm saying is, no, the language is the same. Now it might come out a little rude because the newer women probably were gonna cuss a little bit more in public and say some stuff that might be perceived as ratchet. But what I'm saying again, the history of marriage in the West has always been transactional. It has never not been transactional. The only difference now is that women actually just have more freedom to make more independent decisions. They could not legally make those decisions at one point in history. So, what we often recognize as women becoming more transactional is really women just having more choices. They do not have to marry. Therefore, now they get to choose the reasons why they are going to marry. And oftentimes, people don't like to hear why people choose to marry or not. Because now women ain't checking for marriage like they used to be.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes that makes us uncomfortable.
I do think that I do, however, think that there is a small amount of people who have criteria added to marriage or their prospect of marriage that does deal with things which are spiritual.
No, I'm not saying that there aren't people out here who are. Again, I'm only arguing the facts. Like when a person makes a statement like that, which was a bold statement, I'm just making sure that we are being historically accurate and not having a conversation based off of our anecdotal experiences or our feelings. Now, I'm fine with the feelings, but let's just
Well,
make sure when we're making these statements that we understand the difference between the facts and what history actually shows.
now, as much as I understand that um, historical accounts that are given, it all depends on who gave you the historical account. Um, because now we have to dig into, where did you get your information from?
I mean, I'm studying marriage and relationships all the time, so
No,
this is where I park my car.
I don't mean you literally. I'm
Oh,
talking
okay.
about, I'm not, the you I meant in general
Mhm.
is about where did the messaging come from?
Mhm.
Because um, sometimes there's a lack of information passed down
Mhm.
and people insert what they want to insert in that where that lack is. They answer the question without necessarily knowing the historical account. On the other hand, um, you have messaging that comes from places like church
Mhm.
that give their account of things, not
Mhm.
necessarily as it pertains to what history says, but coming from a completely different metron as it pertains to biblical text, which depending on the narration of it gives you a different outlook.
Mhm.
What my thing has been is each individual in this country
Mhm.
has the freedom to choose what they want in the foundation of their marriage.
Mhm.
And people have been choosing differently. So much so to the point where people don't know what it is supposed to be, what it has been, what it could be, because there's so much variance.
Right. But that's my thing. See, again, when you make a statement, right? Because you made it clear that your beliefs on marriage come from the Christian Bible, right? Okay,
Hmm.
so we get that. We respected that. We're saying cool. And I'm
Hmm.
sure that there are many people who follow your content who would lean into that, right? Because
Hmm.
there is a shared value system.
I
What
was
I've
only
said,
addressing. I'm sorry. I was only addressing what I was addressing had more so to do with what one take said about women um and transact, because I know you had started talking about the transactional marriage being transactional based on what he said too, and all I was addressing was the information of which he has been given needs to be questioned as
right.
it pertains to um he did not know about or did not understand anything about um women or men, or I had to go back to what he said exactly. Back in the day, I mean, it might be in nowadays. Everything is okay. Back in the day, it might not have been, or it may have been genuine. Nowadays, not everything is transactional. People don't be in love for real. They be trying to get what they can get out of someone. Okay, and so I think that was more so what I was addressing is the
Mhm.
fact that um when it comes to something being genuine, it's like, well, what is it based upon?
Right.
And that's what I was highlighting. If it's based on biblical text, then it's this. If it's based on historical events, as it pertains to other parts of the world, is this. If it's based on Western culture, it's this. And so when it comes to what he was saying, I'm like, I had some pushback as it pertains to where he was getting his information from uh, about whether or not something was genuine or whether or not everything is just from the standpoint of transaction.
So I got a question for you, one take, and I appreciate you engaging us in this conversation. We have completely gotten off topic, but we're gonna wrap it on back to the trauma of love because I do think that this actually it's a
Hmm.
part of
Hmm.
the trauma of love, right? And I feel
Hmm.
like almost we should make an entire episode dedicated to this. But
Hmm.
what I would say is, I have a question for you, one take. Uh, what if today, right, 2026, what is it, January 11th? What if you could not um, have a bank, you could not access credit unless you had a wife or some female co-signer? What if, you were in an abusive marriage, but it was really hard to get out without being penalized financially, socially? and this is today, right? Just imagining, what if if you aren't married, you might not have access to benefits, housing, even legal protection. What if you did not have the rights that you have today unless you got married? Would you marry for love? And I don't know if he's still here with us.
Well, it's a 10-second delay.
Got it. Okay, look at
Um,
me learning how StreamYard works.
it's a 10-second delay. One thing I wanted to say though, because Alder Pitt made a very interesting and a comment that I agree with. He said our understanding typically comes from a source of some sort of all sources, which should not be valued for every circumstance. And
Agreed.
and I think that was where I was headed with what I was trying to say about it. All depends on what do you believe.
Right.
What are your principles for your marriage? What do you want? And what
Yeah,
are
for
you
sure.
basing that off of? Because there are certain rules, regulations, you know what I'm saying, that
Yeah, and certain
that you
values.
follow, yeah, and certain values that you follow according to the thing that you believe, you know.
Right, right, right. And one take, what I was saying is, if you could not if you did not have access to all the rights that you have today, unless you were married, right? You couldn't get a credit card, couldn't get a bank account, couldn't get a house. If you were in an abusive relationship and you tried to get up out of it, the divorce would penalize you financially, socially. If you just couldn't get legal protection benefits unless you were married to a woman, would you be thinking about marriage as something that you do for love? If
He said
if
he will
your
marry
life,
for love.
hmm?
He said, will I marry for love?
Yeah, in those in with that criteria though, if you were in that situation,
Or marry for benefits?
yeah, and not just benefits, right? Because we're also talking about survival.
Well, there's still benefits. That still falls under
I think
benefits.
survival is deeper than benefits. Benefits to me denotes something extra. Survival means I live or don't live. Benefits,
Mhm.
that's a little extra. That's a little nice. I like the benefits. But now we talking about life and
Mhm.
non-life.
Mhm. He said it got to be 100% love, or else it seems like a faking for the money.
But we're not just talking about money, right? We're also talking about you fighting for your life, right? We're also talking about survival, because I think sometimes they underestimate the human need for survival. I think sometimes, we really be out here like saying stuff that I don't know, I don't know you. And I feel like you've been pretty real in this conversation, but I would give some pushback.
Mhm.
Um, but I feel like this might be a good thing to come back to in
Mhm.
another conversation.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah,
I feel like love versus humanity um has to be a microscope might have to be put on. And I say that because when it comes to love, love will cause you to sacrifice or make sacrifices to be with someone.
yeah,
Some sacrifices ain't worth having. Some sacrifices aren't worth giving or doing for another individual. And you still plan on sustaining yourself. At the end of the day, I don't know anyone that wants to get with someone that they know is going to destroy their lives. I'm not
yeah,
saying it doesn't necessarily. I'm not saying that. And when I say destroy their lives, I'm not talking about just oh, I'm not gonna have as much money because I got to spend it on this next person. You know.
exactly.
But it's more so of the thing of I don't want to attach myself to something that's going to be detrimental to me in a way where
Yes,
not just losing a portion of what I have, but losing everything. They're haphazard. They are dangerous. They throw caution to the wind.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so with things like that, it's like, yeah, I love you, but I can't be with you if you don't have some common sense.
Yeah. Or if we're going into trauma again, right?
Hmm.
And again, we're looking at the history, and we don't have to go far back in the history books to look at our grandparents. We don't have to
Hmm.
go far back in the history books to look at our great grandparents. We don't have to go far back in the history books to look at our parents.
Hmm.
And again, you know, a lot of us, what we were raised on, when we look at a lot of these marriages that withstood the test of time, they were also withstanding the test of SA, grape,
Hmm. Hmm.
abuse, danger, being cheated on, all sorts of diseases being introduced to that marital bed,
Hmm.
betrayal,
Hmm.
harm to children,
Hmm.
abandonment.
Hmm.
And that's just what was happening in the marriage. We're not even going to talk about the systemic things that families were dealing with. So,
Right.
again, when we talk about relationships now being more transactional, I would go as far as to say uh, perhaps there's a little bit of balance being brought into the story.
I also think that it's still for, even with the unit, it's for self-preservation. I'm not doing it to completely destroy what I have or what I'm trying to build.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so there are gonna always be elements that in marriage that says, um, even if I feel like I'm getting the short end of the stick, it's still worth the investment because I expect to get something later.
yeah, yeah.
And with that, that takes time, that takes patience, that takes a willingness to experience self denial for the betterment of the community or your communal space or your interpersonal relationship or what have you.
I agree. And I think it also requires, if we're really talking about perfect love driving out fear, perfect
Mhm.
love driving out trauma, perfect love driving out the pain, perfect love driving out that story that we've been carrying about love, right? It requires two people being willing to do that inner work to make sure that the love is more powerful than all that other stuff.
Yeah,
And what'd you say?
I was just about to say. I mean, it still goes back to doing proper vetting.
Yeah. But now we're going past vetting, because now we're talking about the everyday lifestyle that's required, right? Because you can vet all day, but all the vetting in the world doesn't mean that the person who you're vetting now is who they're going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now. There has to be some daily application.
Well, this is the thing about that. Um, at some point, you make up your mind that they're worth the investment. How long did it take you to get to that place, though?
Yeah,
That's why I feel
agreed.
like eh, um, there are some people that you can tell, okay, this is unsteady, subject to change, like when the wind blows. At some point in time, you should be able to see that if you've been there long enough before you jump that broom or
I,
you
I
say, I
I
do.
feel that, and I feel like in theory, yes, but I also know that people who have been married for a long time, they're not married to the person after 10 years they were first married to. People change, life happens, grief happens, mental health challenges happen, sickness, stuff happens that will change the very fabric of who a person is. Like,
And I
I
get
just
that.
think that we have to keep that in mind, that that can happen. You can vet and still be presented with a completely different person over time.
But there's a big difference between I'm having a hard time in life and I need your support
Mhm.
versus I'm having a hard time with you in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because some people know how to be there for their friends, but don't know how to be there for their spouse
Mm-hmm. And
through
some
all
people
of their
only know how to be
changes.
there for a spouse and don't know how to be there for themselves.
True. There are some changes that yes, I do know. I mean, we could change within so many years, and depending on what happens, it could cause a lot of change, abrupt changes. You
Yeah,
know. Um,
absolutely.
on the other hand, my thing is how sure is your commitment to it?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, regardless to what happened, we if we go in with the mindset of this is temporary. And when I say this is temporary, meaning these circumstances that we're experiencing as it pertains to happiness is temporary. These feelings of, oh, I'm so in love and I think you so fine may be temporary. The fact that today, you are snatched, put together, all your muscles in place, everything is high and lifted up. That could be temporary. There are so
Right.
many elements of life in and of itself that is temporary. My thing
Yep.
is, if you don't have your mind made up from the outset, that I'm committed to this, regardless to what happens. The moment something happens you don't like, you're ready to bail.
Yep. But
And
that's
it's
why I said, it has to be two people willing to choose love over the trauma and all of that stuff. It has to be. That's
hmm
why I'm talking about the daily application after the fact. Right?
hmm
It does require us to show up every single day. And
and hmm
well, I was trying to wrap this part of the conversation up so that we could move. But if you want to stay here, we can.
no, it was just one thing that I wanted to say. Um, Sometimes the choice is daily. It's so
Absolutely.
easy to say that, oh, I made this choice to be here for the next 10 years or whatnot. When in fact, it's about getting through today. If
Today.
today, if I decided I'm going to be with you today, whether
Yep.
that today is it lasts for 25 years, 60 years, 70 years, whatever. If I keep choosing you today, regardless of what happens today, it'll last. But the moment you start thinking either too far ahead
Whew. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
or too
Have a
far in
seat.
the past, then what tends to happen is we have our minds made up about something that is not real.
Yep. Because you ain't present with the reality.
hmm
Yeah. So I have a question because I want to wrap this part up because it's 12, almost 12:15, cuz.
hmm
So we gonna bring this around to a close. But I do want to ask you,
hmm
when it comes to the trauma of love, what trauma or traumatic behavior are you choosing to sacrifice or release for the sake of love? And I'm asking this to all my cousins in the chat as well as Tina, my cousin in real life. We are actually related, y'all. But anybody in the chat, I'm asking, what traumas are you willing to release or traumatic behaviors are you willing to sacrifice for the sake of love? Because we talked about how love can be scary. We talked about, the history of how, things have gotten mixed up, even when we're talking about romantic relationships, even in friendship, even the trauma that we carry from our families, the stories. Okay, but here it is today. Because I love what Tina said about we choose daily. So what are we choosing today, Tina?
Okay, now what is that question again?
The
Because
question is, what trauma are you willing to release for love? I'll ask it differently. What traumatic behavior are you willing to sacrifice for love?
coming from me,
I'm not gonna put that kind of box on you. You can answer it however you're hearing it.
um, I can say that I'm willing to sacrifice Shutting down for love.
Okay. So you're willing to put that on in the pit and let it burn up. No
Yeah.
more shutting down.
Meaning I'll communicate.
You'll communicate. So
Hmm.
you're sacrificing shutting down and you're replacing that with communicating for love.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. Let me see what y'all got. Ooh, communication, understanding. Okay. Let me think. For me, shrinking myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a trauma response.
Mm-hmm.
Shrinking myself because I don't want to offend people. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to harm people. So then I end up tiptoeing around people because, I see people getting triggered or I see people feeling upset and I don't want to trigger anybody. I know what it's like to have trauma. And then before I know it, I didn't squoze myself into a corner. So that is a traumatic behavior that I am willing to sacrifice. And I am releasing that trauma that has taught me that I have to be small so that other people can feel comfortable. And I'm choosing to love by being my full big self. Oh, they said, don't shut down, Tina.
It's still faith.
Hmm.
It's still faith. I mean, and that's the thing about choosing to push past
Oh, I said shrinking myself, shrinking like making myself small. I don't know if you heard tricking, but go ahead, Tina.
shrinking. Yes, you definitely said shrinking. Um
Oops.
what I can say is when it comes to being in the space of being willing to press past my internal boundaries, the walls that have been built based on distrust, the walls that have been based on past relationships that soured, the walls that have been built up due to um disloyalty and betrayal,
Yeah.
because my initial response is to get away from what I feel threatened by.
Yeah.
If I feel like I'm going to be vulnerable with someone that has the potential to hurt me, I just stop because that's an internal boundary trigger,
Yeah.
you know. And so when you have those triggers in place, it is because you're in the warning section. You're about to cross over the caution tape. You went past the barriers and the barricades and
Yeah.
gotten into a space I don't want you in.
Right. Right. Right.
But if I trust to be in that relationship space with you,
Yeah.
I must be willing to open up that space and let you in.
That's it. I mean, if we choose to, let somebody into those innermost parts, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think we all have barriers to love because we've all experienced trauma when it comes to love. And that's why I'm asking that question, right? In what
Hmm.
way are you willing to get that barrier out of the way? How are you going to sacrifice those trauma responses, those traumatic behaviors, those limiting beliefs, whatever it is that has provided you with a barrier
Hmm.
where you're not giving and receiving love freely?
Hmm.
How are we going to change? Because I want to make sure. And Tina said what she had to say. I said what I have to say. We'd love to hear from our cousins in the chats. because we want to make sure that when we all walk up out of this live, and we're getting ready to walk out of it very soon, how are we holding ourselves accountable to be more loving? And I'm not saying that it has to be this big radical change, right? But again, if we're talking about daily application, how can I love just a little bit more starting now? Um, and I wanted to leave us with that question, but I also, Tina, if you want to take us out, because I know we about 2 hours and a half in, I want to make sure we come back to that conversation on marriage. I just feel like that's such a fascinating topic. And so I'm glad it
Mhm.
came up tonight. But I wouldn't even want to disrespect it, trying to squeeze it into the trauma of love.
Mhm. Mhm. Um, I think they're just waiting on us to end.
Okay. Well, we do have some upcoming things coming up. Tina, Intentionally Random, every
Mm,
Saturday is at 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube.
mhm.
Okay.
6 Central, 7 Eastern.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Intentionally random broadcast. Friday will at I don't forgot what time it is. You'll see it this week. I'm interviewing Crystal's from Crystal's World. I'll be interviewing her this coming Friday. You all may hear from me randomly as usual throughout this week. Depending on what all hits my mind to talk about immediately, and that can be at any given time. So all I
Right,
can tell you
right.
is, if you miss it, you missed it. Just be kind and rewind. Let that
Yeah.
replay button work. Take one said, all we could do is try to be better than yesterday and keep God first.
All right. There you go. I know I don't have a YouTube show other than this one, but I do have a live cast if anyone wants to follow me on Instagram at the Black Love Permissionist. Next Sunday on Instagram, I go live at 9 p.m. Central. I have a conversation with a sister of mine called Relationships and Shit. If you're looking for something, we talk about relationships, but maybe from a not so traditional perspective, feel free to tune in. We welcome all people. And feel free to follow me on Substack if you enjoy reading some Black centered conversations about human connection and all the things that come up in our interpersonal relationships. You can follow me on there at the Black Love Permissionist. And I do have a podcast that will be coming up soon called Live from the Overflow. And I would love to see you all there. So that's all I got, because you want to give us our benediction in the way that only you can.
Sure. Tonight we have been talking about the trauma of love. What sacrifices have you been negating because you're not ready for love? What things have you been avoiding because you feel like it will cost you too much to be able to receive love? I challenge you all to reevaluate how you see love. Because though love comes with its trauma, love comes with its pain, love comes at the expense of loss, it's still worth the investment. Be willing to be open to somebody. Someone wants to love you. But if you're not willing to try, to take a moment, to be willing to invest everything one more time, you could be missing out on the love of a lifetime. Though we know that tomorrow is not promised, be willing to love today,
Mm.
and you'll be able to see the benefit, even if that benefit only lasts a little while. Love is worth the investment. That's it.
Girl, I'm finna play Stevie Wonder Love's in Need of Love today. I feel like we need music to take us out. Can we cue up the music? Can they leave out with a beat?
Oh, I am tickled.
I just feel like it's rude to send them out in silence. Like they should be grooving on the way out the door.
We most certainly are going to take this one out. I'm so
Thanks,
glad that you all
cousins.
come out tonight. Thanks, cousins. All of you all in your respective places. There have been so many of you all who have come through. I'm not able to name you name by name, but most certainly you know who you are. And please know we appreciate your presence on tonight. And until we see you again, fold up your couch, fold up your blanket, because it's now time to go.
It's time to go. Fold it up,
See
fold
you
that
later,
folding
cousin.
chair. Clean up on your way out.
I know that's right.
Grab a dish, wash a dish, amen.
Uh-huh. Yes, put that pallet up. It's time to roll out. Peace.